Hi, my name is Daniela Moore, and I'm a licensed professional counselor. Welcome. In this video, I'm going to teach you step by step how to change your negative thoughts and develop a more optimistic mindset. If you want to learn more about positive thinking, how it can improve your life, and the different styles of negative thinking, watch my last two videos. I'll link them at the end of this one. The quality of our thoughts and overall mindset has a major impact on our experiences, both emotionally and behaviorally. It influences our physical and mental health, how we feel about ourselves and our abilities, and it influences our decision making process. The good news is, if you tend to have a more negative mindset, you can work on changing your cognitive habits and behavior to develop a more realistic, hopeful, and positive mindset. And as for any change, awareness is the first step. We can't change what we're not aware of. So make sure to watch my last video, the one on cognitive distortions, so you can learn to identify negative cognitive styles that you might experience so you can change them. Do you want to reap the benefits of positive thinking? Here are 5 steps that can get you started. I encourage you to write it all down as you go through each of these steps. But before I describe these steps, I'd appreciate if you smash that like button for me and subscribe to my channel so we can stay connected. Step number 1, identify a situation. Choose a situation each day to reflect on. If you find it helpful, use your emotions to guide you. For instance, reflect on a situation that has created some anger, guilt, anxiety, frustration, and so on. In this step, focus on and write down only the facts. Leave your opinion out of this equation. Here's an example. I have to give a presentation next week. Just the facts. Step number 2, identify the unhelpful thought or thoughts. Ask yourself, what went through my mind? What disturbed me? What do these thoughts mean to me or say about the situation? Can you label your style or pattern of thinking? It might be helpful to review the cognitive distortions that you learned in the previous video. In this step, you're simply identifying the automatic, unhelpful thought that you experienced. For our example of giving a presentation next week, let's go with these thoughts. I'll make a fool of myself. I'll be sweating and shaking. I'll stutter in my words. I'll stumble in my words, and everyone will laugh at me. This style of thinking is what we call fortune telling. This is predicting an experience in the future without adequate evidence that it will happen. Thinking this way can lead you to feel anxious and scared. You may struggle to put together the content of your presentation. You may feel sick and you may be unable to stop thinking about it. So then your anxiety gets in the way of you performing well. Step number 3, gather the evidence, both the facts that support the unhelpful thought and the facts that provide evidence against it. Answer these questions. What facts do I have that the unhelpful thought is totally true? What facts do I have that the unhelpful thought is not totally true? Is it possible that this is my opinion rather than a fact? Step number 4, reframe or rewrite the unhelpful thought using a more balanced, realistic perspective. Consider answering these questions. What would someone else say about this situation? What is the bigger picture? Is there another way of looking at it? What advice would I give someone else if they were telling me this experience? Is my reaction in proportion to the actual event? Is this really as important as it seems? Just a reminder, this is not to invalidate the emotion or emotions that you might be experiencing. This is about learning to expand your perspective and regulate yourself so you can experience more balance, more quality of your experiences and overall life, more success, and less suffering. So let's consider our example. It might be more helpful to rewrite those thoughts like this. I'm afraid I'll make a fool of myself, but I don't know how it will actually turn out. Or, I simply fear the idea of people making fun of me or laughing at me, but I have no actual evidence that these thoughts are accurate or rational. You can acknowledge the fact that giving a presentation is difficult for you. What you are changing is the irrational part of that pattern of thinking. That difficult experience doesn't mean it will end in a disaster. That is the part that you're changing. Step number 5, reassess and evaluate your experience. In this step, you learn the impact of the change in your perspective on your emotions and behaviors. Here are some questions to help you through this step. What am I feeling right now? And if you are feeling the same emotion or emotions, are they still the same intensity as before? What changes do you notice? What could you do differently? What would be most helpful? What will be most effective? What would the consequences be? Do what works. Act more intentionally, more consciously. In our example, maybe you're still nervous or anxious, but you're not being consumed by the anxiety in a way that interferes with your performance. You are able to focus and better prepare yourself for the presentation. So, to sum it up, this is what we call catch, check, and change. Catch your negative self talk or negative thinking. Check by gathering evidence for and against them. Change that unhelpful thought with a more helpful alternative. I know change is not easy, but it surely is possible. Start practicing positive self talk by following one simple rule. Don't say to yourself what you wouldn't say to anyone else. Keep this question in mind. Would I talk to my best friend this way? Be encouraging and supportive to yourself. Like any set of skills or habits, developing a more positive mindset takes practice, time, and consistency. You will not see results overnight. It's important to understand that you're going to have some negative thoughts at times. That's okay. It's impossible to have only positive thoughts. The goal is to learn to change the negative thoughts to be more positive, hopeful, and realistic when you catch them. Start small. Choose one situation at a time to work on and build on that. In no time, you'll be able to catch, check, and change these thoughts as you go through life naturally. With practice, this becomes more natural to you. If you've watched my other videos, you've heard me say that our mind is truly powerful and influences how we feel and what we do. So change your life by changing your mind. I hope you found this video helpful. If so, hit that like button for me and consider subscribing. I'd love to stay connected. And as always, I'm going to leave you with a quote. When negative thinking dominates you, obstacles increase in your life. By changing your thoughts and making them positive, you will find solutions that have manifested themselves. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time so we can continue to evolve more.